Hello my people, I am Chef Sally and today we'll be making crescent rolls with cinnamon smear. We have our recipe playing on our screen, so you can as well take everything down. So we are going to begin now. All right, so we are making our dough, our crescent roll dough. We have our flour in our bowl. We're adding all the ingredients into the bowl. We've added our oil. Now we're adding our milk. All right, everything has to go into the bowl. The next thing is our flavor, our vanilla flavor. Our vanilla flavor goes into the bowl. Okay, now we are adding our yeast that we proved earlier. All right, we proved it with 1 tablespoon of yeast with lukewarm water, half cup, with a pinch of sugar. We allowed it to prove. All right, so now we're adding our water. Everything goes right into the bowl, and then you on your stand mixer and then you begin to mix. All right, I discovered that the water was not enough, so I added 2 tablespoons of water, and we mix this for 12 minutes. All right, until the gluten was fully developed. So you can see it is fully developed. You see it's looking so nice. So now we are putting it into an oiled bowl. All right, and this is just to prevent it from sticking to the bowl. So now we have covered it with our cling film. Okay, and then we set it aside. Now we are measuring for our cinnamon smear, and now we have placed our bowl on a measuring scale. So now we see you have 0 on it. All right, so now we begin measuring our sugar. Whilst you're putting your sugar, you just don't pour in. You just put so that you do not exceed the number that you want. And anything between 1 and 5 is fine. We are supposed to measure 40, but we had 41. It's okay. 1 is not a problem. All right, so the next thing is that you put the scale off and put it on again to get to 0 so that you can measure the next ingredients. So that was what we did. Now we are measuring our butter. All right, so we want 40 as well. We've measured, and now we are using a hand mixer. We are mixing it all together to make it a bit fluffy. All right, to make it a bit fluffy. So you just keep mixing. When you are done with this step, you now add in your cinnamon. Remember, we're making cinnamon smear, so we want that cinnamon taste in our crescent roll. Okay, so the next thing we do is that we add our egg. So 1 egg goes into this mixture. All right, so that when it's baking, it gives it that that fluffiness inside our dough. All right, so the next thing we do is that we now add our flour. So the secret is you kind of divide the flour into 2. The first batch goes in, then the second batch then goes in. All right, you just mix for like 1 minute. You're done. 1 minute. You don't over mix, because if you over mix, it becomes too watery again, and that's not what we want. We want it a bit thick. So this is it. Now we have placed it, we have put it in our plate, and now we are prepping every other thing that we need for putting the dough together. As you can see, we are grating our chocolate dough, the chocolate bar, we are grating it. All right, if you have chocolate chips, you can use anyone, is okay. If you have chocolate chips, if you have chocolate bar, it's fine. We have our desiccated coconut, and then we have our chocolate, and then our cinnamon smear on the other side. So now we're preparing our egg wash. All right, so we have 1 egg, and then we're using 1/8 teaspoon of sugar, and then 1/8 teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. All right, you can use any kind of salt, it's fine. All right, just that the pink salt gave it some added flavor. All right, so now it is time for us to roll out our dough. So what's it that we're doing? We sprinkled flour on our work surface. Bring that out to see how this looks. Look at this. It looks really nice. Yeah. All right, just floor your work surface. Okay, dust your rolling pin and then begin to roll. Now there's something I want you to understand with flour is that flour needs you to work with it with your mind really relaxed. All right, if you are tense, it won't just come out. It's just like swimming. All right, if you are tense with swimming, you begin to sink. Yeah, so with flour you need to just work, and once you roll, you don't roll for too long before lifting it up. You roll, you lift up, you roll, you lift up, you check and ensure that it's not sticking to your work surface. You roll back and front, you lift it up. You can see that's what I've been doing. You lift up and check, rub it with your flour again so that it doesn't stick to your work surface. All right, so the next thing we are doing now is that we're trimming the edges. Okay, you can use a knife for this. You can use a cutter just like what I use, this pizza cutter. It's fine. So the next thing is to spread your cinnamon smear on your dough. All right, you can see it. You just spread it round, ensure that it gets to every corner. Okay, this is it. Yes, this is it. You keep spreading it, spread it. Yes. Now the next thing is that we are sprinkling our desiccated coconut everywhere because we want to have the feel of coconut in this. But one thing I want you to know is that this step of coconut is actually optional. If you do not have a coconut, you can skip. It's fine. It still will come out really nice. Okay. Now we are sprinkling our grated chocolate bar. All right, because we just want a feel of desiccated coconut, a feel of chocolate in this crescent roll. Okay, so you sprinkle everywhere and ensure that it has gotten to everywhere. Look how this looks. All right, this is beautiful. Okay, now you take your wheel cutter. They call it pizza cutter as well, and then you begin to cut something that looks like triangles. Okay, you could use a ruler and a knife for this step. All right, if you do not have this cutter, you can use a knife for this. All right, just cut them into triangles. Okay, then pick them out and then begin to roll up. All right, ensure that the thin part of it is away from you. You begin from the fat part of it, the base. That's where you begin, and ensure that the thin part stays under, so that when it's proving and when it's baking, it doesn't just open up. All right, so this is it. So you do for every one of it. Put it on your tray, ensure that you have allowance so that once it's baking, they don't just get stick to each other. All right, so this is how it looks. The next step is going to be that once we are set to bake, we'll have to egg wash this before we put it into our oven. All right, so that's what we're doing right now. We're egg washing it. You just use your brush lightly, ensuring that you do not deflate your rolls. All right, you brush it from one end to the other this way. All right, now you set your timer on your oven. We are timing this for 30 minutes. All right, at 180 degrees Celsius for baking. So that's what we are doing. Okay, so that is it. It's in the oven, and before you know it, we have it. Yes, our rolls are ready. They're ready. The next thing you do is that your sugar syrup that we made earlier, you brush them over it. Okay, remember we said 1 cup of water to half cup. Then you now sprinkle with desiccated coconut as well, just for plating and for how it looks. All right, and so this is it. Yes, we have our crescent rolls. Just look at these beautiful pieces. They look really sumptuous. Sorry, they look really appetizing. I'm sure you really want to have this. Okay, Anyways, I am going to do the tasting. Wow, I opened this. Just look at this. Yes, look at the chocolates in it. Yes, just look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. The chocolate, the coconuts are on top of it. They are also inside. Okay? This is really nice. You should really try this. Just keep trying this, all right? Try it at home, try it in your businesses. You can serve this as breakfast to people. It's really delicious. For your breakfast shows, for breakfast at home, this is nice. And I'm taking this with a watermelon drink. Yes. Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of this class. Thank you.